Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our show, as well as tuning in through our online affiliates around the world. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. I'm always excited to talk to individuals who've not only been able to identify what they want to do in life, but then to be able to take the steps necessary to make that a reality. Pilar Holland has definitely been able to do that. She's a model and actress who's been able to not only live out her own dreams, we'll talk to her about that, but also what it's been like for her then to share that with all of you. Of course, those that she's able to meet in person, but more importantly, I think for our audience here, for those that are able to join her online around the world. If you're just not hearing about Pilar, we'll tell you at the end of our segment how you can stay connected with her. But Pilar, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hi, Cyrus. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Well, look, I'm glad to speak with you as well. You know, I mentioned to you before we began the segment that I noticed when I was prepping for your segment that positivity is definitely one of those things that you not only talk about, but you're able to live. What has it been like for you, Pilar, as you kind of look at what you've been able to achieve at this point and to be able to think about the things you've been able to make happen in your life? What has it been like for you to kind of see those goals and dreams becoming a reality for you?
I mean, it's been a hustle. It has been a hustle, and you just have to appreciate every little victory and win that you have, and you have to have a great support system. You have to pretty much my friends are my family. So, I mean, I have a great family as well, but because here in LA, it's really important to surround yourself with positive people who support each other and all want you to grow and continue to move forward in their careers and life and continue to grow.
Exactly. And I think, that is such a big thing, Pilar, because I think so many times when people reach some type of level that maybe they've set for themselves, it's very easy to become complacent. Do you find that you are your biggest cheerleader and that you have to keep pushing yourself to not get complacent, but to keep experiencing more things for yourself?
Absolutely. I'm actually just getting into producing. I'm going to start producing a play in a couple months, and I didn't think I would be doing this so soon, but yeah, it's just I just want to explore so many things in the industry and continue to learn. And there's different things that you can take from it, and eventually maybe producing my own project that down the road I'm already talking to people. I just have so many people that I connect with, and there's just so many things to explore in life and stories to tell and to entertain people.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that.
So
let's go back.
And that's what I...
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead, Pilar. I'm sorry.
That was it. It's just collaboration. I enjoy it a lot.
Right. Now, I was just going to say, let's go back to when you first realized that you wanted to be able to entertain, because I think, that has to be part of the why. I mean, one of the things that has impressed me this year that I've learned from guests like yourself is I had a guest that came on the program, and he talked about the importance of the why and how that has driven him in his life. When did you first realize that acting or entertaining in a broader sense was something you wanted to do?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I always wanted to act when I was young, but I didn't know why. There wasn't a why. It was just there was something about wanting to explore these alternate lives because I wasn't quite settled in my own, especially. I think that's one of the reasons we watch art is to, live out these different ideas and lives. And I realized in college I started to understand what acting was, and I actually don't think until recently I understood why I wanted to be an artist. I don't know if that sounds funny or not, but it's just all of a sudden I embraced my craft a lot more. Studying at Stuart Rogers Studios has opened up just my ideas on the philosophy of it, and all of a sudden, I don't know, I got divorced a couple years ago, and I don't know if it was that. It just opened me up artistically. I felt like a freedom, and I was able to see things clearer, and I was able to understand purpose for my art and understanding the stories and the struggle, like the struggle of even just my divorce and the struggle of having people and trying to figure out your life and knowing that I want to tell these stories so that everybody knows that they're not alone going through the struggle that we go through with life and all these ups and downs, and understanding there are ways to change your life and change and help change society for the better, and to open people's eyes to these different possibilities and to let them know that they're not alone as well. We can laugh and cry together. So
yeah.
it's funny you asked that question, and actually the why really didn't hit till a couple of years ago.
That's great. And now I can think what's so great about you sharing that, and I appreciate that, Pilar, is that there are a lot of people who are still trying to figure it out. I know I found myself, when I told my audience just earlier this year, one of the questions I struggle with, because there's so many great things that I enjoy, is when people ask, well, what exactly do you do? And, and it's like, okay, well, it depends on what day it is. So
right,
that's kind of it.
Right.
Now, as you mentioned, people know you as an actress. They know you as a model. As you mentioned, producing is a new thing. Is the excitement also for you, Pilar, in trying something new? Is the trying something new like the bungee jump experience for you, and how far you can push yourself?
I think so. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know. There's a few projects I'm talking about, because YouTube is a big thing now, and we're talking about doing different series or shorts or things like that. And you never know. That's the thing, is you have to take chances. Yeah, and you hear these stories. People fail so many times. You just have to keep getting up and keep trying to pursue your dreams and whatever makes you happy. As long as I can pay the bills and be happy, that's the goal.
Yeah. I think that is a great thing, and it's a great point to be able to make. For those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Pilar Holland to our program today. Pilar is known as a model and actress, but also, as you just heard her say, she's adding a new slash to her name as we're wrapping up this year, headed into 2018, that being producer. And along the way, as I mentioned earlier, Pilar, you've been able to share this experience with the rest of the world, especially through social media. I mean, one thing I found is an interesting question. I don't have, kind of pre-decided questions for each segment, but one thing I've found myself asking more of now, because I hear people give varying answers on this, and I'm curious for you, have you gotten used to the idea of having fans, and do you consider them fans?
I do. I am increasing a fan base as well, and I do appreciate them. They are so supportive. It's funny, I had an article out last week in Levity Ball, and there was a girl that commented about, because I'm ethnically ambiguous, very mixed, and Mexican, Japanese, and white. And this girl commented on my post and was like, "Thank you for representing me, because when I grew up, nobody on TV looked like me. I couldn't relate to anybody."
Oh, wow.
And that touched my heart,
Yeah.
And it just, there are people who are and I love interacting with them. I love talking to people, and that's the whole point. And that's another point of life, is just connecting with people and talking to people. A lot of times we forget to do that. We're so wrapped up in our phone. And it's good to, even if it's just communicating through text or talk, it's great to actually talk to people. I love going out and going to a farmer's market and just talking to every person in every booth. But you have to take the time, because that's part of life. And that's part of growing as an artist, is experiencing and enjoying meeting people.
For sure. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that about, I read that article for Levity Ball. I'm glad you mentioned that, because one thing I did want to ask you about that particular article was about the importance of creating your own lane. I think so many times we are, it's so easy for us to try to compare someone or to make someone the next X, Y, or Z. How important has that been for you to just be the best of yourself and not worry about trying to compare yourself with someone else?
It's funny. I do worry, Cyrus, and I have a girlfriend, and she's amazing. My girlfriend, Katina, she's one of my best friends. I had this talk with her because one of the questions in Levity Ball was, who was your favorite actress growing up, and what was your favorite show? And I kind of felt silly saying Shannon Doherty and 90210, because I read articles about Brie Larson at 6 years old being admitted as the youngest person into the Academy in San Francisco. And I'm like, well, that's not I don't feel like mine seems so glamorous and refined. And she gave me a pep talk. She goes, there are people out there who are going to relate to your story, and you don't need to compare yourself to other people. It's your path. Be truthful, be honest, and some people are going to relate more to that. Not that you got into some academy at 6 years old. Not that, I love Brie Larson, I look up to her. And everybody has their own path, and some people, don't have certain opportunities. And me, I grew up watching Beverly Hills 90210, wishing I could be on the show.
Yeah, right. Well, and to that same point, Pilar, I think as you're talking about the idea of not comparing, and I was asking you about fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds as though too you're kind of comfortable, even with the comment that you got on that Levity Ball article. You're comfortable with being an example for others as to what's possible. Does that also add to your why, that even though you want to be able to be the best of yourself professionally?
It does. Last year I was actually talking to another one of my girlfriends about the Latina side, and also, because I am mixed, and so it's not just one thing also, but I guess more people may look at me as a little bit more Hispanic. I mean, I am 50% Hispanic, so I'm a little bit more on that side, but I